So one of the things that cracks me up is when people say that you should just go get grants as an academic entrepreneur. When people say that, they do not understand entrepreneurship at all in the process that goes on. And I would have said the exact same thing. I'm a business professor, and I looked at this literature a long time ago, and I thought it was going to be really easy to get grants as an academic entrepreneur. Let me tell you exactly what that is, right? So an academic entrepreneur is somebody that is doing research. Maybe they're a PhD, maybe they're a student, maybe they're a professor, and they decide to create some commercial entity based on some of the things that they actually did. And then you go, and so that's the academic entrepreneur. Maybe you likely it'll just be like a side thing. Maybe eventually it'll turn into like your career or passion or something like that. But likely it's just going to be a side thing that you're going to, just basically it'll be on the side, right? So you've got your normal academic thing, and then you have the entrepreneurship thing, whatever that looks like. And the idea is you're supposed to go get grants, and they're easy to get. Um, my experience, that is not the case at all. There's this thing called transaction cost. What is the transaction cost? That is the cost of actually doing a transaction, doing a business. And you are going to spend far more time and effort and of trying to find a grant someplace to sort of fill that gap, and you're going to be frustrated, and nothing will happen from it. Now, there's that's interesting, but even the more interesting thing is you realize that a lot of that stuff just does not happen, right? Like nothing will happen. Um, I've been doing the reciprocity project for so long that I've given up predominantly on this sort of magical grant thing, right? That's equivalent to like wishful thinking, is that there'll be somebody, that fairy godmother is going to come by and actually help you and give you resources. And that's just not what happens, right? So the only time that actually does happen, so there's this weird tension. I'm going to talk about this. The only time it does happen, there's this thing called the Matthew effect within academic literature. So this is basically the sociology of science. It's well proven at this moment. The Matthew effect is that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And this happens within the academic game very, very strongly. If you look at people at top programs, very, very top programs in the entire country, it's going to be easy to get resources at those, but easier, not easy, easier to get resources at those top programs. That's because they have engines behind them that allow you to do those particular things, really. Um, you know, you name I don't know what would be probably the best one in the country would be Stanford, that they would have a close enough engine, but it's not really a good engine. And so this is the tension that you're going to face, is that you have that engine that's there and it's going to give you access to some of those things. But there's this tension. If you are actually an academic, you will be highly discounted for doing anything that is commercially related. There is this strong pushback on anything that's commercially related. It's a vast taboo. Um, and you have to push back against it, right? And it's going to be very hard to actually do that. So on one side, the institutional level will say, go do those things. Here, there's possible resources. But then on the other level, which is like, your day to day, there's going to be like, no, don't ever do that. That's a mistake to ever do that. And you are a failure if you go do those things. So it's fascinating when you have that particular tension. There's those two things that are going on. And then on top of it, there is a lot of, the transaction costs, the paperwork, all of those things are really big. And those hold people back tremendously, right? Like, don't, don't think that those are negligible. They are massive parts of it. Now, I'm not discounting that, grants are not possible, but free money does not exist, right? There's always something behind it that is going on. And if you were to create something, I beg you to find people that have done this, um, there might be some sectors where that is plausible because it is considered more the norm, right? So I don't know, maybe you're in aerospace engineering, for example. You do a PhD in aerospace engineering, it's probably a little bit more likely to find grants in that particular area. But in all other areas, good luck. You're going to spend more time and effort, and then people are going to discount you for doing it. And you know, um, I don't know how to politely say this. I've had a lot of experience with this. So the reciprocity project, lots of experience at this point. Trying to wait for the fairy of godmother to come by, the grant godmother to come by, or some funder that's going to come by and change your life, and all it doesn't exist. It just doesn't, right? So you have to determine, hey, is this important enough for me that I am going to actually risk my career? I'm going to risk my career um, and say, I'm going to do this thing. And it really is a risk of your career, and you're going to be made fun of. People are going to, all of the things that are very, very much true if you're entrepreneurial. Um, I beg, if somebody makes fun of you, go and ask them to go start their own business and see what happens. Um, and you'll begin to realize, like, that's a different story. And all of a sudden they'll say, oh no, I'm not going to do that. Why did I do that? Because I'm afraid of doing that particular thing. So there's that component, but then the effect is quantitatively times higher in the academic game. So you're facing the grant side of things, which is, it does exist, but good luck getting it. And if you get it, it's only because you're tied with a whole bunch of other folks that are doing things right. It just does not exist. Don't expect it, and just go out and just do it yourself. Build the thing that you really want to do. Take the time to actually do it. Ignore this whole belief that there's money to be had and all that kind of stuff. Do it for other reasons. That's the only reason why you're actually going to ever do anything, is you have to stand up and just do it for other reasons that are far more important than the commercial aspect of things that frankly just don't exist at the beginning. And there's not going to be money and all of that kind of stuff. It's just a bunch of, as far as I'm concerned, if you've ever had practical experience with this, that's a load of horse crap, and you will realize it doesn't exist. And so you just got to get out there and make the damn thing happen yourself. All right, take care. And by the way, you're going to spend a whole boatload of your own money. Good luck with that. It's going to happen. That's entrepreneurship. Take care and have a wonderful day.